Hey, Brian. Steph talked about how the playoff streak is over and it's a new season. I was just wondering, without you getting too much into the weeds, just what are your expectations of from the players for the San Jose game?
Well, that's actually Maz, that's a great way to lead off the press conference. What I told them very specifically is that, look, it'll take me personally some time to decompress about whether the season was a success or not, or, we feel bad now because the pain, the sting is right there. But certainly Champions League was a massive, massive accomplishment, but we don't feel good right now. And so what I told them, the expectations are that whoever we put on the field, that they're going to play for the home fans, because the fans have supported us, through the years. And there were, fans in the stands today that deserve to make sure that the players do their jobs, and that do their jobs to the best of their abilities with fight, determination, grit, never quitting. Some of the things that Sounder players, our club, the expectations that are there. So we will put out the best team possible and try and win the game against San Jose, even though we understand that we're out of the playoffs.
We'll go to Jeremiah O'Shan next. Jeremiah, go ahead.
Yeah, Brian, you pulled out Christian and Jordan with about 15 minutes left. If you could just kind of give some context for that, and just in general, it didn't. I don't know, from the outside, it didn't look like there was as much urgency towards the end that you might expect. Did it seem that way to you?
Yeah, look, Christian is a warrior. He did as much as he could. He was just gassed. I mean, he did a lot of running in the first half. He's not game fit, but he put it in. Jordan came out. There's a little bit of tightness in one of his hamstrings, so that was a little precautionary on my part. He's got a hopefully a big opportunity for him. So that's the reason for those two changes. Urgency, yes. Jeremiah, yes. I was a little disappointed that towards the end of the game, players, I think there's some that certainly were giving it their all, but there was some lack of urgency that certainly we're going to assess and look at. And I'll repeat what I said just with Maz's question. That won't happen on, against San Jose, because we just won't. We won't let it happen. We'll make sure that the guys are ready and they push and they try and win the game.
Felipe Makeda, I see you next. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Thank you, Alex. Coach Brian, my question to you is, if the not qualifying to the postseason for this time has any meaning in terms of the sporting, in terms of the results that you had this year, being the most productive in terms of getting the CONCACAF Champions League trophy.
Okay, Felipe, I think I understand your question. If not, I hope I answer it in a good fashion. Look, the season was not lost today. I mean, technically, yes, it was. We still had a chance. Portland losing. The guys were all watching the game here. We knew that we had an opportunity, but we as coaches, I as the coach, head coach, need to give the players the tools to be successful. And so the reflection has to be, why was our team so good in the first part of the year in winning what no other team has won, the CONCACAF Champions League, which is a massive, massive achievement.
I mean,
and then to fall so far behind in this last stretch of games. And look, it is human nature. to be hurting right now, players and coaches. But Felipe, that's the question that we are going to try and answer. We're going to try and answer the why. How did it happen? What can we do better? You know, I've already talked in a couple of different interviews about, you know, the training rhythm that we had, you know, maybe tightening some of the rules that we have. You know, there just needs to be some changes so that we can get back to, you know, being a winning club.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll go to Jada Evans next. Jada, go ahead and ask your question, please.
Thanks. Ryan, can you kind of building off of that a little bit, because Steph had talked a little bit about, you know, knowing that you are a good team, but not being able to be that good team. How have these last couple of months been for you, you know, personally, knowing that you also, you know that you have the good team, you guys have found the success, but not being able to find, you know, the right way to get it in a game, to get it done in a game.
Look, Jada, I always try and do a lot of reflection. I think that's a good character trait to have. You know, you always learn from different situations, good and bad. You don't just learn from the losses. You also learn when your team is doing well. What did you do? You try and continue that. So for me personally, certainly this hurts. It certainly isn't up to the standard of this club. And again, it's my job to give the players tools to be successful. Having said all of that, you know, I can't give you a definitive answer as to, you know, what went wrong. You know, maybe there needs to be a little bit of change in the roster. It always happens. That's normal. You know, we'll get some fresh faces in. We'll continue to develop the young players, because I don't push this on any of the young players, this disappointment. I think the young players are coming along fine. But we'll certainly as a staff start working on that, you know, when we get back home. I gave the guys a couple of days off just to mentally get it out of our system. But we'll come back and we'll start working on it right away, because Club World Cup is going to come up at us pretty fast.
Okay, we'll go to Alonso Contreras next. Alonso, ask your question, please.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, Coach. I know it's a very tough loss in elimination. But, Coach, I would like to ask you about what do you see in Sporting Kansas City defense that you put Morris on top instead of as a winger, where he has demonstrated his abilities? And also, Nico mentioned about CONCACAF covered a lot of mistakes, you know, for the MLS regular season. And I would like to ask you if you agree with it.
So the decision to put Jordan up top was my decision. We thought we needed a little bit of a spark in our attack. We didn't know if we were pushed back a little bit. We thought we could get them in some transition moments. You know, the whole storyline always changes in our sport when goals are scored. I mean, we had the right movements. We had the right, play when Christian was there. Nico gets in behind. We cut the ball back. Christian has the goal. And look, again, credit to Kansas City. Their defender cleared the ball off the line. But had we gone up 1-0, then, maybe the conversation isn't why did you put Jordan up front? Why didn't it work? Maybe it's, hey, that was a good move and Jordan played well. So again, that's one of those things that we'll take a look at and we'll see. But as far as Nico's comments, I'll have to listen to him. I'll talk to him, obviously, as one of the captains. I'll talk to all the leaders of the team to get their thoughts on the year and the season. I would probably say that Nico is a very good captain. He's a very proud individual. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. You could tell that he was one of the ones throughout the entire course of the game that was pushing, that was playing and trying to create some tempo for us to score. And so I would probably agree with Nico that Champions League shouldn't cover up any sort of defects in the team and how we played and, why we didn't make the playoffs.
Reminder, if you have a question for head coach Brian Schmetzer, please hit that hand raise function button. I think we're coming around to the last couple. Paolo, go ahead and ask yours, please.
Coach, I believe I can say that the winning CCL impact the rest of the season. I believe impact both physically and mentally. But when I say physically, I mean the injuries and also players play beyond or above their capacity. And by mentally, I see also kind of always having the pressure to come from the behind and kind of in a win or die situations. How do you think that impacted the team, or what was the worst piece of that?
Well, Paulo, I might respectfully, of course, disagree with you a little bit. Champions League did take something out of us, both physically and mentally. I'm in agreement there, but how much? How much did it really take from us? If you look at the injuries in the second part of the year, you could say that, okay, maybe Raul, because that was a muscular injury, maybe there was overuse, maybe Christian here with his surgery, that was overuse, but that was probably from, multiple years of Christian working hard. I think, JP's ACL injury was something that just happened. I don't think that was because of, Champions League that just happened. And then young Obed, who has a bright future, that was a growing injury that, that we just couldn't accommodate. And then, Paulo, we changed the training rhythm. And that's where, again, I have to take some responsibility. I wish I would have done that a month earlier, but we reduced the volume of the training and pushed the intensity a little bit higher. And I think the team was a little bit fresher, energy-wise, physically, when we made that switch. But then again, where I might agree with you a little bit is the mental toll. I don't know exactly what the mental toll was for winning Champions League. Maybe they got complacent, maybe. But that's something, again, that I'll reflect on here in the next coming weeks.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, we'll take the last two here that I'm seeing. Jeremiah, go ahead with your follow-up.
Yeah, Brian, I know we've talked about this earlier. I don't know if you've been able to give it any more thought, but this was your 15th loss in a 1-goal game. I think you actually were tied with LAFC for the fewest multi-goal losses. Just speaks to how often you guys were in games. I don't know if, do you feel like that's, I don't know, indicative of anything? Do you feel like you have a better understanding of why that might have happened?
Jeremiah, look, the frustration, my body language right now, it really feels like we'd have one mental lapse and opponents would make us pay. And then we'd have to play from behind, and then our team doesn't quit. And we always fight and we get ourselves back in games. LA, we go down 2-0. There's plenty of circumstances where we always fight, we always come, and we end up losing by 1 goal. So I don't have an answer for you other than the fact that that goal that we gave Kansas City today has been one of the reasons why in this last stretch of games, the last half of the season, why we're not in the playoffs. That was a all-around bad play. We needed to play quickly from goal kicks. We needed to create tempo. Alex Roldan was open. We did elect not to play there. We play Yaimar. Yaimar gives the ball away. They come down our throat. I mean, we cannot give goals like that in this league away from home. You cannot give the home team that type of advantage. So I don't know what it is, Jeremiah. It'll be certainly one of the things, again, that we as a coaching staff reflect on. How do we play out of the back? Do we play out of the back? Do we have the personnel to play out of the back? We'll certainly take a look at that and come up with some solutions.
All right, Jada, I see your follow-up as well. Why don't you go ahead and close us out?
Thanks. Coach, I just wanted to ask about Raul. Is he out for the San Jose game, or what's his status?
I don't know, Jada. I will check in with him when we get back into training. And I will let you know. But I hope he's available.